Sometimes everything goes according to plan. Sometimes they go horribly. Join us while we tell tales of games gone wrong. This is Curmudgeons and Dragons RPG Horror Stories.
Hello, adventurers. Guys, it is Friday. Time for a horror story. Josie and I are still on our date.
Yeah,
how's it going?
I never left.
Yeah.
It's been a spicy evening. I'm cooking dinner in the other room. It's going to take another hour. I made the mistake of picking a recipe to cook without looking at how much time it takes.
Yeah.
You do.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. But I've drank a bunch of wine, so.
Josie being an entire continent away is still not the least amount of action I've ever gotten on a date. So that was fun. Greg is still at Gen Con. Greg is, I think Greg's working today. We'll give him a
Jim is
proper
at
day
Gen
off.
Con.
Jim's
Greg is, yeah.
Greg's doing Greg stuff.
Wouldn't you like to know what it is?
No.
Yeah, me neither.
All right. Top of the month, Josie, tell me a story.
I have a story. It's not very long, but it does have a good message at the end.
You have a short story?
It's a medium story, but yes. I picked one that was of a reasonable length.
By whose standards?
By your standards.
Wow. Okay.
Aren't you proud of me? Please tell me you're proud of me.
I'll be proud of you when I see how long this thing is, right?
Okay.
Because that is subjective, ma'am.
Yeah. All right. This one comes from user Crazy Diamond on Reddit. It was posted a day ago, and it was my Savage Super Session Zero Screwup.
Ooh.
We love a Session Zero, number one, right out the gate.
We love a screw up on a Friday.
Hey, y'all. A while back, I ran a Savage World Supers game, or at least I tried to. I combined the remainder of a couple splintered regular gaming groups I was with, and we scheduled a Session Zero, as you are supposed to. In Session Zero, we did everything but what we were supposed to do. We had a nice friendly chat and went through all the possible systems we could play, the type of story we wanted, and who would run. We decided it would be a round-robin GM situation. One person would run one leg of the story, and the next person would yes and that story and add on to it. We would use Savage Worlds, and it would be a Supers campaign, which I'm not familiar with. But, whatever.
Sure wish Jim was here.
Yeah, maybe someday he'll explain it to us. We established that the campaign would start out in a dystopic interstellar future, and the party would start as prisoners on a prison planet. And the first leg of the campaign would involve escaping and becoming a group of fugitives, which is always fun. I want to add that we weren't even thinking of Guardians of the Galaxy, which had been out for years by then. So I'm going to need you to get off my back right now. We love a sassy writer. Right. Then we split up to make characters on our own, which we thought would help us become familiar with the system. What ended up happening was 2 players came to session 1 with about 90% overlap on their character abilities. Also, 3 people played against the prisoner trope in a group of 5. 2 were in the prison, but they were only pretending to be prisoners and could leave at any time. And 1, because of real-life scheduling, didn't arrive until the end of session 1, at which point the party had already escaped, so was never a prisoner. I really tried to work with this, but I was really thrown off. I ran 3 sessions after the escape and said, okay, I think the escape up to this point is a good time to shift GMs. After this next session, I'd like to take a step back and let someone else run the game for a while. I don't think anyone was really enjoying it. As a result, nobody offered to take over the game, and after my one more game obligation was fulfilled, no one stepped up to continue the story. The entire experience left me with a horrible feeling, and my confidence in my own ability was rocked. I now have far stricter demands of a Session Zero. I was hesitant to start another campaign after that. I went back to running D&D, which is really my wheelhouse, and back to my own homebrewed world, which had grown enormously by the end of that Pathfinder campaign. So it is Pathfinder, okay. The TLDR is, didn't do enough in Session Zero. So there were 2 characters with a lot of overlap, 3 who didn't fit the concept, and no one stepped up to be the next round-robin GM when I asked. The lesson here, Session Zero doesn't end until you're ready to start the game.
That is a great TLDR.
I loved that. I loved the lesson at the end there. That's a good
last line. I did a little research while you were reading that. Savage Worlds obviously is just its own little RPG system, also known as SWADE. Stands for Savage Worlds Adventure Edition. Because AD You get both of them in the acronym. And those books are available on Drive-Thru RPG. You can check those out. But yeah, just looks like another RPG system. I'm not going to read enough on it while we're talking on this show to really fully grasp the difference. But
I think the part where this devolved really was when they split up to make the characters on their own.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't seem like they came back during session 0 to talk about their characters or even like check in with their GM. Because had they run it by the GM or like swapped it, yeah, they split up to make the characters on their own to help familiarize themselves with the session, with the system.
Right.
And then they
and
showed
how
up
you
to
end up
session
with
1.
3 out of 5 all playing the same type of character.
Yeah.
I was afraid for a second when you said 3 of them were prisoners and 2 of them were fake prisoners that could leave at any time. I was thinking that this is going to go in a direction of the Stanford prison experiment.
Oh, God.
You're familiar with this?
No, not that. Yeah, I am super familiar with this. If you're not, I would suggest you read up on it. It is everything bad that happens in Palo Alto, California.
The social experiment that ends up going really, really wrong is fascinating. This podcast is not going to go in that direction, but if you're not familiar with it, read up on it. If you are familiar with it, read up more on it because it is still fascinating.
Jason, I have a PowerPoint about it.
I'm sure you do, and I'm sure no one assigned that to you.
Yes. Actually, honestly, if you're a reader, there's a book written by the guy that did the experiment, Philip Zimbardo. It's called The Lucifer Effect. The first half of the book goes day by day for the 7 days out of the 2 weeks that it was supposed to run. It only ran for 7 days.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes into like minute detail about what each person did. It's incredible. It's really great. And then the second half of the book is about his work at Abu Ghraib prison and like comparing and contrasting the situations. It was incredible. 12 out of 10.
Weird. So read up on that because it's just a fascinating thing. But that's not what we're talking about today. So I was afraid that that's the direction this was going to go in when we had 3 prisoners and 2 guys that were in prisoners but not prisoners. But yeah, so let's go through all the session 0 problems here. And we love talking about session 0 problems on the show. Usually
the problem is that people don't have the session 0.
Sure. But I think a bad session 0 is worse.
Session 1 doesn't start until session 0 is done.
That's great.
Session 0 is done when everyone's ready to start.
Is it not for t-shirts? Because I'll put that on a t-shirt.
I want that on a t-shirt.
You know, we got design new stickers. Let's throw that on a sticker. So we got players who are split up and create their characters in a vacuum.
And I think this really goes back to the kind of like communication is very important in all situations, but specifically in role play games like this.
Yep.
Where you want to be similar enough that you have a reason that this party is adventuring together, but you don't want to have the same character 5 times.
Right. And then now the round robin DM thing, was that discussed before session 0 or was that one of the fails?
That was something they decided. We said it would be a round robin GM situation. They agreed to that. They agreed they would use Savage Worlds and it would be a supers campaign. We established that the campaign would start out in the prison, et cetera, et cetera. So they did all of the big picture stuff right away. Like, how is this going to run? Where is it going to be set? What is the starting position?
Mm-hmm.
And then beyond that is when it fell apart.
Yeah, fell apart at the gates. This happens a lot in the podcasting world. Like how many of your dumbest friends are like, bro, we should start a podcast because we're funny. And then they just have these big plans on, not us.
I'm very funny, especially after my 3rd glass of wine. Hold on.
No, there's a reason why the average podcast peters out after, I think it's only 7 episodes is the average. If you make it to 12, you're in like the top 5%.
Look at us go.
There's just that many podcasts out there. This is episode 74. We're breathing down the neck of episode 100.
Truckin'. There's not much discussion to have about this because OP knows what went wrong.
Right. And that's another key information to have is to know where you screwed up. But there's a couple things that went right here. What I liked was that he said he picked up the remnants of lots of different games that all like kind of petered out.
And brought them all together.
The nature of playing TTRPGs as an adult is that just games are just going to fizzle out. It's going to happen. So to take a few of those and like kind of Frankenstein one group of players together that can commit to a game, I thought that was great.
You already know they have a common interest.
Yep. Very happy to see that.
My one qualm with this is OP. You don't need to have a horrible feeling, and your confidence in your ability to be a GM should not have been rocked. I think you realistically did everything you needed to except for double check the characters.
Sure.
And it's simply not your fault that nobody else wanted to take control. I'll take
a step farther. Having a feeling that you're not a great DM and having that imposter syndrome puts you in a big club called everyone.
Yeah. Here's the thing:
that shouldn't be a deterrent. Let that become like your fuel. You have to like prove it to yourself that every game's going to be that good.
Yeah. If you're sitting there like, I wonder if I'm a good person. Like maybe these things that I've done in the past make me a bad person. Bad people don't think about that. They just keep doing bad shit. It's just how it goes. If you're thinking about it and you're ruminating on what you've done wrong and how you could have done better, how does that make you a bad person? That just means you are actively trying to learn from your mistakes.
We're dropping lines today.
Yeah.
We got that one. We got the session 0 thing.
I love that session 0 thing. I'm very into
making all kinds of t-shirts today. Yeah, there's not a whole lot else to discuss here. This DM sounds like or GM, I guess, for this game. Sounds like he tried his best, and I'm going to reward him for that. That's more than I can say for most of these stories. Sorry,
I want to point out one more thing, that OP says that they have their own homebrewed world, which has grown enormously by the end of this fan. You're probably a very good GM. I'm not going to say you are because I don't know you, but you seem to put a lot of work into this.
I'm not going to say he's not because I don't know him.
Yeah. But like, it seems like you put a lot of work and effort into world building and creating the campaign. And, it sucks when one doesn't work out. I'm sorry that you seem to think that nobody was really enjoying it. Some people are just afraid to take the reins.
And maybe they weren't enjoying it, and that's fine. Like you were trying a different system that they weren't familiar with.
Yeah, honey, you can live and learn. Not every mistake is something you have to sit there and wallow about. It's okay.
You said D&D is in his wheelhouse. Go back to your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Do what you know.
Do what makes you happy.
Do a prison break in Baldur's Gate. Like just run the same campaign, but with like better combat
rules.
I don't know.
Yeah. The same thing, but in a fantasy setting instead of sci-fi. It's fine.
Or go run Spelljammer. It's D&D in space.
Ooh.
So, all right, Josie, thank you so much.
Oh my God, anytime.
Excellent to see you. We'll bring it back next week. So real quick, guys, check out CurmudgeonsandDragons.com. I just want to give a quick plug to, there's 2 little buttons on the bottom of our website there, one on each corner. One is a voicemail button. You can record us your voice in a little topsy-turvy land. You can record your voice and send it to us.
Yes,
oh my God. Recording our voices, sending it to you twice a week.
Please give Jason a break from me getting drunk and recording me and my friends.
It'd be nice to get someone other than Josie.
I just abused the shit out of that button.
But a couple of you have been emailing us with some feedback. I love reading that. But if you want, just kind of tell us what's going on. Tell us what you're thinking. If you have a story, if you've got suggestions, ideas, anything, just give me something to listen to. And then the other button is the Buy Me a Coffee link, where we have a skin to buy me a beer. The show's a good amount of work to put on. And if you enjoy it, we would appreciate it.
Yeah, let us know.
And that's all I'm going to say about that. That's all I got. Josie, thanks so much.
Oh my God, look, the sun didn't even set on me this time.
Yeah.
Nobody else got to see that, but last time we were recording.
Nope, because it ruined the video.
As we recorded it, I got faded out into the background. It was very funny for me to watch.
I think I edited out the part where you were talking about how dark it was.
Oh, you're no fun.
Well, there was no video. They didn't know what you were talking about.
They can imagine it. Listen, if you're playing tabletop RPGs, you've got a good imagination. You can figure it the fuck out.
Yeah.
But also I have to go finish cooking dinner because I left it sitting while I recorded.
Go. Guys, thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Thank you for listening to Curmudgeons and Dragons. Please share this with your favorite adventurers and leave a review. If you have a tale we should tell, please send it to us at curmudgeonsanddragons.com/contact for consideration. You are now out of initiative.
This has been a JTP Audio podcast. Thanks for listening.